Okay, we're going to get in. We're going to take the shoes off, we're going to get in. It is amazing what you can see in a forest at night. This is a spider that only comes out in the evenings. And just look at this web, it's huge. It's almost big enough to catch a bat. Think of Kenya and you think of big open savanna, very dry areas with just a few bushes. But hey, look, you also get some very pretty flowers. But this isn't a gardening show, this is a wildlife show, and I need a new wild challenge. Play mum to a very, very big baby. Very big baby. That's gotta be a baby elephant. Now, I'm a big fan of elephants, so this challenge should not only be a pleasure, it should also be a trunkload of fun. This is Daphne Sheldrick's Elephant Orphanage on the outskirts of Nairobi National Park here in Kenya. It focuses on taking care of orphaned ellies and rhinos before trying to put them back into the wild. And with all these jumbo babies, it is the perfect place to try and complete my challenge. The Daphne Sheldrick Orphanage currently has 9 infant elephants and another 31 growing up and in the process of being reintroduced back into the wild. This is Permanus, who works at the orphanage. Permanus, how many orphans do you have here at the moment?
For the moment we have 9.
9? And
yes.
what ages to and from?
Okay, from 20 months to 5 months.
Permanus, what's the main reason that the elephants become orphans?
Okay, mainly it's poaching, and also the second one is a human conflict with the animals in their gardens.
So poaching is still a big problem?
It is, we can say like 60% is poaching. So that's why most of them are killed and leave their young ones behind.
Permanus, my challenge is to be mum to a jumbo orphan. Which one of the orphans
okay, I
be mum to?
I think you can go for Madiba, who came from Botswana to South Africa, and then from South Africa to here.
And how old is Madiba?
Madiba is 5 months old now.
So one of the really little ones?
One of the really little ones.
And obviously Madiba lost her mother and the rest of the herd?
Yes, same as the ones we have here in Nairobi.
The very fragile, fully milk-dependent year is a crucial one. This is Stephen, who's a very experienced elephant mum. Which one's Madiba?
This one is our young baby called Madiba.
Oh, the little blue
male
blanket.
Baby who is 5 months now.
So this is the one I've got to look after for the day?
Yeah, the blanket, you have put the blanket to keep him warm.
Yeah.
And to be an elephant mother, you have to give them maximum love and maximum care.
My job was to give Madiba the love and attention that he would have got from his family in the wild. So if I was going to be a good elephant mum, I would have to have constant contact, plenty of touching, regular bottle feeding, and lots of reassurance.
Not doing well so far. Good bit of bonding going on.
Hello, Madiba. I'm going to be your mum for the day. Is that okay?
Oh, you are so sweet.
The orphan's day starts at 6 a.m. with feed time, followed by morning play and then more feeding. At around 11 a.m. it's time for the daily mud bath, followed by an afternoon nap and feed, and finally to bed. This was going to be one exhausting challenge.
Look at that. I've only been an elephant mum for like 10 minutes and I've already got poo on my shoe. One way of cleaning that off. Even at such a young age, these elephants use their trunks for all sorts of things. You can see if they quite enjoy you blowing down it. They're really having a good smell of you. And you see these 2 fingers at the end, they use that to pick up things like grasses. These trunks are incredibly strong, but they're also very, very delicate. Not sure that's such a good style for me, you know what I mean?
After playtime and the initially snotty bonding, it was lunchtime, and that meant a short walk to the local feeding station.
Now this is where it all gets a bit hectic. We're taking the Ellies off for their lunch. But before the Ellies can have their lunch, I better make it. That's 4 pints of water. And next we have to weigh out the powder. Okay, that's 14 ounces. And now all we have to do is mix the two together. Jamie Oliver, eat your heart out. I wonder if it needs a bit of seasoning. Yummy, yummy. Well, isn't this a lot of fun? No. Oh dear. What's that? On goes teat. Ellie lunch. Now this may look a little strange to have a blanket over her head, but it's sort of like a security blanket. And Mediba symbolises that with a mother, and if she sees the blanket it means she's going to get fed. There you go, Mediba. There. And he has to be fed 4 pints of milk every 3 hours. Now that is a lot of milk. Is that gone already? Diva, that was quick.
In the first few minutes after its birth, a baby elephant calf learns to stand and walk, a necessary skill for survival, since this is how it's able to drink its mother's milk.
Now Mediba not only gets given milk, but also gets given some shrubs and leaves. And you can see he's not really that bothered about eating them. At this age, they'd mainly have milk and they just kind of nibble the rest. You want some? You prefer sucking them, don't you? You can see Mediba's having a little drink of water, again using that trunk to suck the water up. Now they don't then drink through their trunk like a straw, they then squirt the water into their mouths. And when they're fully grown, that trunk can suck up 3 gallons of water.
After the thirst-quenching drinks, it was time for a bath, elephant style.
Now this is where it gets very, very messy. So off comes the blanket, Mediba. It's time for a mud bath. Okay, we're going to get in. We're going to take the shoes off, we're going to get in. Mayhem, mayhem. Well, now he's had his mud bath, we then put dry mud all over him. This is going to end in tears, isn't it? Not for you, for me.
Perhaps my technique lacked something, because the elephants decided to take up the shovel and do it themselves. But they soon discovered that nature had given them a much better shovel, their trunks.
Well, 3 hours have gone by. It's time for another feed.
Well, we've done the feeding, we've done the bathing, we've done the drinking. Now, how do you fancy a bit of playtime?
Come on then. Beckham has got the ball.
To me.
I'll tell you what, these elephants really know how to celebrate a goal.
This is the hottest time of the day. The Ellies have had their play, they've had 3 lots of feeding. So this is a slightly calmer time when they find some shade and they just chill out a bit. That's the theory anyway. I seem to be stuck. And I've got a trunk up my shorts. Get out of it. Well, like all young children, at the end of the day, these baby elephants need to go home, have a last bottle of milk and be put to bed. Now you've heard of a zebra crossing. This isn't any crossing. This is Madiba's stable. He goes to sleep. Looks like he's beaten me to it. Come on, Madiba. Behind here. Okay, little Madiba, here we go. As you can see, I've got to go behind the blanket again. But he knows exactly what's going on. There you go. Now, in the wild, these babies stay with their mothers until they're 5 or 6 years old, sometimes for their whole lives. So it's really sad that these little orphans have lost their parents.
Well, little Madiba, you have been an absolute pleasure to be a mummy to. You are a gorgeous little elephant, but it looks like you're very tired. So I'm going to put you to bed and say that that was a successful challenge. And let's hope that getting this little baby orphan back into the wild is equally as successful. Night, night.
This is Barrow, Colorado Island in Panama, and it is a fantastic place to see all sorts of tropical wildlife. So I reckon today's challenge will be a goodie. It is set a trap to catch a bat. Holy schmoly, bat girl, this is a real riddler. I met up with Elizabeth Calco, Barrow, Colorado's very own batwoman. She's been studying the bats on this island for years. So Elizabeth, my challenge is to set a trap to catch a bat, and this is something that you do for research purposes, isn't it?
Yes, I do that lots of times, for many nights.
And what do you find out?
Well, what I want to find out is how many bats are in this forest here. I want to find out where do they fly, what do they eat, what are they doing here.
How many different types of bats do you have here?
It's amazing. The island is really small and it's about 15 square kilometers and we have 72 species here.
72 species!
That's a real record.
So my chances of actually completing this challenge are pretty high.
Yeah, you are. I'm sure you will be lucky.
So what do we do first? Set the traps?
We will first select the sites because first you have to think like a bat. You have to think, where would I fly if I were a bat?
Elizabeth, I'm doing my bat impression. I'm thinking like a bat.
Yeah.
And I reckon this is a good place.
Yeah, this, especially there where they come from the hillside and then dive down into this little valley, it's open enough, and I think that's where we actually should set the net, the first one.
There's the net.
Thank you, and now I'll show you how to get the net out and how to set it for the bats. And we have to be really careful that it doesn't drop on the ground because it will catch all the dry leaves here.
And then we'll tangle it.
So this is extremely fine. This is basically like, well, it's almost like a...
It's like a hairnet.
Yeah. So the next step is to take the loops here and to slide them over the pole and then to fasten the pole with ropes on the tree. That's right.
Just around like that?
Yes.
Oh, this is where it's getting a bit tangly.
And now this one has to go up.
So do we now open the nets?
Not now, we will be waiting a little bit because now we would catch birds and we wait till the sun sets and then it's bad time.
Okay, so that's not my challenge.
No.
To catch a bird.
Yeah, so this is the first one and let's go to the next site.
So how many are we doing? Three altogether.
Three.
Okay. Holy bat nets. Definitely looks like rasta hair, this.
Yes. So this is going to be interesting. White on top, all set. We need to have some bat karma.
You're naughty, you are, that or batty.
All right.
It's great when you get the easy job.
Really? I actually caught a cow once in Costa Rica.
Look, no hands. Getting the hang of this.
So we're done. What now?
We have to wait now. And we will watch the sunset and wait for the bats to come out.
It was time to start setting our traps, and Elizabeth set me to work straight away. Well, that's all the net set. Now all we have to do is that good old sit and wait game. Almost as soon as it was dark, we had our first catch of the evening.
Hey, run!
Fantastic! Hey, we've got one.
Well, and that's something special actually because you rarely ever get these bats here in the mist nets.
Really?
That is one of the bats that is flying in trefoil gaps and catching insects, and I can show you when we get it out of the mist net here. You see I do it very carefully not to hurt the bat. And so I can show you the wings because they have very small wings. They're adapted for fast flight. I need to be careful here. You see this is, and then to get the little
Sweet little
foot out.
face.
It's very, very cute insect. And you will see it has two white zigzagging lines on its back, and it's also called white-lined bat.
So this is an insect-eating bat.
That's an insect-eating bat, and you can see this very nicely when we look at the tail membrane. This is the membrane between the legs, and as you will see hopefully very soon, yes, like this, look at that, that's huge. And this is here the feet, and there's a little tail, it's sticking out here, and this is a sheath-tail bat. You see why it got its name here. And this huge membrane here that helps the bats to catch insects in flight.
That is a cool, cool bat.
And that's, I mean, we're really, really very lucky. And you see it has rather large eyes. So this myth that bats are blind is definitely not true.
So you're going to let that one go?
Of course, and so she definitely wants to go.
She does. Whee! That was quick. It is amazing what you can see in a forest at night. This is a spider that only comes out in the evenings. And just look at this web, it's huge. It's almost big enough to catch a bat.
Before we could draw breath, we had our second catch.
Look at that. Wow, it's one of the project bats. It's a marked one. This is super. You will see there may be larger ones around. That's a fruit-eating bat, and that's one of the really early flyers. And so then, you see, I very carefully and just get it out here.
So when you say it's one from the project, you mean, oh, it's
It
got a
has
little
marked.
collar on?
Yes, it has a color, and there's a number, so we know exactly where we got it first. We will have to look it up later on the computer in the database. And this is a very interesting bat because this is the most prominent family here. This is a leaf-nosed bat.
Yeah, look at that
Yeah.
hooter. That is a big nose.
Look at this funny thing and so that it has, and so this leaf
Oh, that's cool.
nose,
though.
and all of the leaf-nosed bats have it, and so with the exception of the vampire bats.
Wow, look at his tummy.
And this tummy is not only full with fruit, but it's a pregnant female.
So what do we do now?
We put it in the capture bag and then carry it up to our measurement place, and then first check the other nets and later on measure the bat, identify it and look up the number.
So now this is the scientific stuff.
Yes, and now we have to measure.
Okay, this is where you obviously have to be careful not to let it go.
Of course. Yep. Oh, she wants to leave.
I'm not
which
surprised.
I fully understand, but we will give her something to eat later on. There we go.
Sweet.
So what we need to do here is we need to measure the forearm, and this is this part here, and that is for, and you need to take this part.
Is that
Yeah,
that
that's
right?
fine, that's
Okay,
fine.
so what's that then?
And you look here at the millimeters, so
Yep.
this is then 44.8.
Wow, look at that.
You see the vessels, the blood vessels?
Yeah.
And at the same time you also see the muscles.
The
Just in the
muscles.
wing. Yeah, look at that, these stripes here, these
Yeah.
are muscles. And with that the bats are able to move the membrane. So now we will give her a reward, so she
Okay,
will get
look at
some
this.
sugar water. Yeah. See?
Oh, look, that is so sweet.
Yeah, and she's really hungry.
She is, isn't she? More?
And that, yeah, oh yeah, sure. It's just as long as she likes to lick the sugar water.
Well, my challenge was to set a trap to catch a bat, and I not only caught one, but we caught two, and it was fantastic to get such a close-up look at them. So that is definitely challenge complete. This is Egypt, and this is the Red Sea. And if you remember your Bible stories, this is where Moses parted the water so he could walk through. Well, hopefully my challenge won't be as difficult as that. Okay, it is swim and beat a humpback in the water. Humpback. Well, there's a humpback whale. Don't think I'm going to see too many of those in this water. I've got it. It's something a bit more Egyptian, something with a hump, and something that you don't normally associate with a lot of water. This is my chosen humpback opponent, a camel, a very strong, resilient animal built for harsh desert conditions. Broad, flat feet with 2 toes, perfect for walking in the sand. Hopefully not so good for swimming.
Very long, thin legs with powerful muscles, excellent for carrying heavy loads through the desert. And probably not too bad at doing a bit of camel paddle too. A camel's top speed on land is about 40 kilometres an hour. Mine is roughly 15. But how fast can they go in the water? Well, there's only one way to find out. This is Sabri, who's going to referee the race. Now, Sabri, what are the rules?
Rules is you and the Zidane the camel gonna swim over there to the marker buoy, okay? And then whoever will make it to the shore will be the winner.
So the first one to the beach wins the race.
The first one to the beach wins the race, obviously. But I want you to choose your strokes.
Okay, I'm going to have front crawl. What's the camel
And
going to
the
have?
camel gonna have camel paddle.
Camel paddle?
Absolutely camel paddle.
Sabri, what are my chances of actually winning this race?
50-50.
Oh, really? I've got a good chance
Yeah,
then?
yeah. I'll say this in Arabic. 50-50. Nos.
Okay, the race is on. Before entering into any competition, I like to prepare. This was one challenge I was going to be ready for. It was then time to try and outpsych my opponent, but he was one cool customer.
Right now, go.
And we were off. I chose front crawl. My opponent was sticking to the tried and tested camel paddle. Whatever happened, this was going to be close. Egged on from the sidelines, I began to slowly move away and managed to open a little lead. I just hoped the camel wasn't getting the hump. Once our feet touched the bottom, it was a foot race to the finish. Yes, I won! I won the challenge! You are a great camel. A little bit of a reluctant opponent, but hey, I did my challenge. I'll tell you something though, he tried to put me off. He pooed in the water, that's not nice. Challenge complete. That was bonkers. I don't think the camel is a good loser. Look, he's off, way off into the distance. He didn't even stop to shake my hand. Charming.